tough cookie, but once you go through a couple of trials and tribulations, you realize like you build more character. I have a lot of patience. I think I have an extreme amount of sympathy, which is, I think, always a good thing to have. I'm stronger than that.
JaNa Craig, star of Love Island, is finally speaking out about her recent breakup and offering an honest and heartfelt assessment on what actually transpired, the warning signs she saw, and why she is now prioritizing herself. As she embarks on this new phase of her life, JaNa, who is well known for her strong personality, charm, and candor with her fans, is displaying a new, vulnerable side. JaNa acknowledges that when she first started dating, everything seemed promising. It might have appeared picture perfect to the outside world, a romance full of connection, laughter, and future possibilities. However, as the months passed, she started to see little fissures developing beneath the surface. She initially decided to ignore it, dismissing the uncomfortable sensations and hoping that things would work themselves out. However, the warning signs become more obvious with time, and it was no longer possible to ignore them. Relationship red flags aren't always obvious at first glance, JaNa noted. They frequently appear gradually and subtly, whether in a partner's communication style, level of commitment to the relationship, or degree to which they genuinely respect your limits. According to her, there were times when something looked insignificant at the time, but subsequently grew into something far bigger. These trends let her realize that the relationship's foundation wasn't as strong as she had imagined. She talked openly about how hard it was to come to terms with such insights. She wanted to believe the best, as do many people in love. She wanted to have faith that her partner would step up and that things would get better. She ultimately realized, though, that ignoring the warning signs would only endanger her own mental health. That was no longer something JaNa was prepared to give up. It wasn't simple to let go. She said the split was one of the most difficult, but yet essential decisions she has ever had to make. Walking away was like saying goodbye to a future she had previously dreamed of because she had put time, effort, and passion into the relationship. However, JaNa emphasized that the choice was made out of self-respect rather than rage. She wanted to distance herself from something that no longer made her feel important, safeguard her own energies, and maintain her sense of self. Every ending has lessons, JaNa said, looking back on the split. One of the most impactful lessons she has learned is the difference between genuine dedication and charm. She claimed that initially, it's simple to get caught up in the romance's thrill, chemistry, and exhilaration of fresh starts. However, the truth eventually becomes apparent in deeds rather than words. Whether your spouse respects you completely, shows up often, and makes an equal investment in the relationship are the most important factors. No relationship can endure without such balance. She acknowledged that she frequently prioritized her partner's wants over her own. She found herself putting his happiness ahead of her own, sometimes to the detriment of both. In retrospect, she saw how exhausting that had been. She has learned from the breakup that loving oneself is not selfish. Rather, it is necessary. She clarified that prioritizing oneself does not imply a lack of desire for love, but rather a desire for a positive, healthy, and reciprocal form of love. Her encouragement to others who could be in a similar situation was one of the most remarkable aspects of her perspective. JaNa mentioned that when something doesn't seem right, it's acceptable to leave. Even if it causes temporary pain, it's acceptable to keep your peace. The hardest but most empowering decision, in her opinion, is realizing when something no longer serves you and having the guts to go on in spite of it. She wants her followers to understand that choosing oneself is the first step to discovering something greater and is never a bad choice. JaNa is concentrating on recovery and development going future. Although she acknowledged that sadness doesn't go away quickly, she is choosing to live each day as it comes. She's pursuing her work, spending more time with her loved ones, and establishing new objectives for herself. She claimed that even tiny, everyday actions, like taking care of herself, surrounding herself with encouraging people, or just giving herself some breathing room, are assisting her in regaining her strength, her supporters, who fell in love with her while she was on Love Island, have been outspoken. She has received a lot of praise on social media for her courage and honesty. Others have expressed how her remarks struck a deep chord with them, encouraging them to consider their own relationships and serving as a reminder that they, too, deserve to be appreciated and loved. JaNa's tale serves as a potent reminder that, despite their fame, celebrities experience the same hardships and heartaches as the general public. Behind the glitzy photos and public personas, they struggle with uncertainty, difficult decisions, and the difficult process of letting go. JaNa is establishing a more genuine connection with her audience by being honest and demonstrating that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but rather of power. JaNa is resolved to confidently welcome this new chapter as she looks to the future. Every relationship, even the ones that end, is a part of life's journey, in her opinion. Every one of them makes you a better version of yourself and teaches you something worthwhile. Even though the lessons she's learned have been painful, she is thankful for them and hopeful about the opportunities, growth, and love that lie ahead. According to her, this split represents a fresh start rather than the end. It's an opportunity to rediscover who she is, to hold herself to better standards in her relationships, and to start a new, healthier, and more optimistic future. By sharing her story, she aims to inspire others to follow their gut feelings, spot warning signs, and never hesitate to put their own needs first. JaNa Craig's candor serves as a reminder that one's sense of self-worth should never be sacrificed for love. She is not only ending a chapter when she leaves, rather, she is beginning a new one in which she is the protagonist of her own tale. By doing this, she is encouraging her many fans to think that selecting yourself will always lead to a better tomorrow, regardless of how challenging the path may feel at the moment.